What up, you guys? We are here for our weekly romance oracle and tarot reading. It is a new moon in Pisces tonight. I did not film the Pisces New Moon workshop. I was out with my mom for a lot of the day, and then I took advantage of the nice weather and went for a walk. And then I only have one day off this week, and so I had to run all my errands too. So I was pretty spent, and so I knew it takes a little bit longer to set up for that reading and a little bit longer to like clean up afterwards, and I just didn't want to run myself into the ground. So I figure you guys probably wouldn't mind anyway. So I thought you guys would just enjoy the messages for the sake of the messages, for the merit of the messages. By the way, my leather jacket is squeaking on this leather couch. I am not sitting here farting on camera. Just so you know. Okay, well, just some feelings about this Pisces new moon. You know, we're always planting seeds during the new moon, and that's like we're setting the intention and the energy for the entire month. And so also, before I ate this, like as in tradition, I had my you know how you have girl dinner and it's like a late night olive after like starving and probably having a drink. I have late night, or I have girl supper, which is the afternoon version of, you know, it's like late lunch, early dinner of just grabbing like a bunch of nuts or chocolate covered almonds or something. So I have like, I feel like I have nuts in my teeth. So anyway, when we are in new moon energy, we are during a time where the moon has zero light, right? The moon doesn't have any light of its own. It represents the human being or the soul. It represents the vessel. And the moon receives the light from the sun and it reflects back that light. So when we're in the new moon, there is no light. And so it's just a dark moon. And so it lacks the light completely. And so it's like empty of the light. So if we can, and so basically that's kind of like the most negative the moon is all month long. And so physical darkness sometimes exposes us to that metaphysical darkness as well. And sometimes physical light actually is protective of us and gives us exposure in a way to the metaphysical light of the Creator. So when the moon is new, typically we have a tendency to have a little bit more of like challenges maybe that day, or opportunities to where we could go negative or positive. And if we can be positive throughout the day on a new moon, then that plants really powerful positive seeds, because that's the seed level or the head of the month, right? And so we learn that our consciousness it flavors the seed level through which all the manifestations that flow through us and through our efforts, it flavors everything that we do. So the new moon of the month, it really is like the energy is prevalent throughout the whole month, and those themes are prevalent throughout the whole month, more so than say like the full moon, which is really prominent, that energy during the last 2 weeks of the month and during that climax. But the new moon actually affects the entire month ahead. And so I like to observe the strengths of the sign that it's in, because those are potentiality that we can awaken within ourselves. However, it's as a result of overcoming the shadow aspects of that sign that are awakened within ourselves as well. So as we are exposed to the energy and influence of that sign through the month, we'll be challenged the way that sign is challenged. The way it is expressed through our unique frailties and shortcomings in our own soul and personality. And we kind of battle it out with those challenges. And if we can rise above those challenges and transcend that and open up new consciousness, then we can reveal the strengths of that month as well. So Pisces, sorry, I had a notification. There was something on your face. Pisces, the the weaknesses of Pisces, well, let's talk about the strengths of Pisces. So the Pisces sign are super deep. They are super like philosophical and spiritual. They're the most mature out of all the signs, right? They're next to Aries. So where Aries is the baby, Pisces is the hermit, or the wise one, the oldest one. So they often represent the Christ, like the Jesus fish, the Pisces fish. They represent giving and sharing. They're very big givers, and they're very into sharing. And they don't have a strong desire to receive for theirself alone, which can sort of go full circle and act as their weakness rather than their absolute strength, because it is our desire that creates the drive that pushes us towards manifesting or pursuing things. The vessel that we talk about when we talk about light and vessel, ultimately at its core, the vessel is essentially our desire to receive. If we have a vessel for receiving the insight of the Torah and the Bible, it means that we have a desire. And so we're going to want to seek out the wisdom there. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. It's like, okay, go looking for what it means. Search out these scriptures to find meaning and insight in them, right? But you have to, it doesn't come easy. It's not just on the surface and obvious, so you have to make an effort. If you have the vessel to create a company and maintain that company, it means you have enough of a desire to make the effort to make it happen, because it's a Herculean effort to really achieve anything and accomplish anything other than just showing up and being a cog in the wheel. And even that takes a lot of energy and effort too. So it's like everything takes effort, right? So when you don't have a strong desire, then you can become passive and not really go after things. And so Pisces might not live up to sharing their gifts and their wisdom and their potential because they don't have a desire to go out and be super ambitious and get for the self, or get all the attention for the self or the glory. Now you might think, wait a second, the Pisces that I know are super peacocky and they do get the attention. Yeah, that's so true. Both are true, but they're not really super materialistically driven people, or like hyper ambitious a lot of times, or at least not for themselves. They're in some way, even if they are hyper ambitious, maybe they go through a period of like super like obsessive self-deprivation and giving to others. Like it can be hyper exaggerated. So Pisces are also dreamy. They're very imaginative and creative. So that's really good and positive when you want to like imagine and have faith and be positive and think about like create thought forms of positive things happen, and really put your imagination into good use in your prayers rather than like using an imagination to catastrophize, right? So the Pisces are very imaginative, and they can use their creative power in a very potent way, and they can express their insights and their wisdom through their art. They can be symbolic and deep, and I think when art is very deep and poetic and symbolic, it speaks from a soul language to the souls of others, whether or not their conscious mind understands it or not. Deep calls on the deep, right? So I think that Pisces have an innate ability to tap into that creativity and that insight and that intuition, right? Like a lot of creatives are mystics. Pisces is the mystic creative, like the Khalil Gibran's. I don't know if Khalil Gibran was a Pisces, but he would be a great example of one if he is. So it's like that spiritual, mystic, dreamer, but they can also spin illusion too and get you kind of caught up in a fantasy and illusion as well. So we are sort of waking up from our illusions and fantasies. You know, how many people on earth are feeling a little disillusioned these days? If you haven't already been part of the great awakening that's been going on anyway, you're part of the rude awakening that's suddenly catching up after the big timeline jump and after we've all been through the last several eclipse seasons. It's like, hey, welcome, hi. Here, get your name tag. This is Armageddon. Right this way. Have to take a seat and a number and you'll be called soon. Yeah, so everything's wild and crazy. So people are kind of disillusioned right now. So I think that this new moon is coming in a moment where I think we're starting to feel a little bit more like we're getting a little stronger and we're feeling a little bit more grounded. The emotions are flowing, but I think that we have gone past the point of avoidance and being afraid of our emotions, afraid that we'll be taken down into the abyss. And I think that we've already been in that abyss-like place. And so now I think we're comfortable to have like a comfortable, manageable grieving and rage and all of these things that we need to feel and that are coming up, not only for the greater, greater human family at large, but even just for ourselves. I think we're even a lot like very over our own grief at this point. I think we're sifting through and we're going in that deep spring cleaning of the soul house. And we're finding the dust left under the rugs and we're moving the furniture and it's like we're cleaning stuff out and we're like opening up those old drawers and we're like, why do I still have this? Like, I can throw this away now. I can throw this away. I can throw this away. So too, for our emotional baggage, we're like, oh, life's too short. I've got to forgive. I've got to accept this person. I've got to have grace. I've got to let go of that terrible memory. I've got to let go of that loss and that failure. I've got to let go of the way I'm beating myself up about this or my obsession over that. You know, I think we're ready to let go of the old bondage, and not perfect timing, right? Because we're coming up on Passover season. And this is where you can join the Exodus, right? It wasn't just Israelites that exited Egypt. You know, others decided to join the Israelites because they agreed with what was happening and they wanted to leave the slavery and the bondage of Egypt. And so Egypt is not like a country we're hating on. We're talking about, it represents the ego, right? And our own darkness and our separation from God and that union in through our ego and through that lower personality. And that is the part of us that keeps us held back, small, keeps us from revealing our potential. It keeps us afraid. It keeps us reluctant. It keeps us second guessing. It keeps us staying in something that's wrong, but just like it's what we know. We've already established ourselves here. I don't necessarily agree with the practices and the fine print, but we're here now. It's like, no, that a lot of people stayed in Egypt. And they didn't leave. They were like, you know what? We're already here. We're settled. I'm just going to stay here in slavery. And so that's the status quo. Then people stay in and they don't want to wake up. It's inconvenient. Healing is a messy business and it's itchy and it's painful. And sometimes there's, you circle back around with infections and, things not healing right. Got to break it again and reset the bone kind of thing. And that's us going back and repeating our patterns. I think we're getting a deeper look at it now, and we're getting a very sober look at things now. And I think we're able to more fully and easily let go of old conditioning, old mindsets, old choices, old emotional baggage, old unconscious programming and limiting beliefs. We're letting that go, and we're ready to move forward. Yeah. So, any more thoughts about this kind of moment right now? Pisces. Anything else? I feel like there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, but right. So now like we might be processing feelings that we are sort of grieving on behalf of like the whole planet and humanity and other people. And see, that's much more powerful than getting caught up in our own drama. When we grieve for the sake of others, just like when we share for the sake of others, it's not like grieving over someone, like being worried about them all the time. That's evil eye. It's called passive evil eye. It's draining and negative towards the person by accident, but it still is. But when you have, there's a mystical experience called the holy vision of sorrow. When you see the world and the state that things are in and what it could have been and what we've done to it. And it's just like, oh, you're just devastated for humanity. From that place, when your heart breaks for the others and for the sake of others, you can pray from that state. And it is very powerful and very, very compelling to the upper realms. So we're processing, a collective emotional body here. And as we do that, we get more clarity and more strength and more certainty and more direction into how we're writing this new story going forward in this new world, new dimension, new timeline. We're co-creating this with God. And we're wanting to align with that divine purpose and that divine plan. So we're learning how to tune in to ask and receive that guidance and that wisdom in that direction. And it's coming through more clearly because Pisces are super intuitive, super psychic, super connected. In that heart as an information processor and the heart as an intuition center. They're really psychic there, and they're really like clairvoyant with visions because of that active imagination, and their water sign. So they're connected with that sacral water chakra as well. So yes, I think that we are sort of at this like Y point in the road, and we're with the choices that we're making in our life. It's like we are steering away from our fate and going towards our destiny, or we're sealing our fate. And fate is like the hand that you're dealt, when you're born, and it's the kind of the hand that you're dealt under your natal chart. And if you don't ever work on yourself and you don't ever transform and you don't ever change, then that fate is going to play out, and your fate gets worse if you keep sowing more negativity and sowing more seeds of negativity. But if you are, working on that inner transformation, that is when you're revealing like a different path, a path that has more harmony and flow and abundance. And it doesn't mean there's not going to be challenge, though. We're always going to be challenged no matter what. So it's like never perceive that as a negative or as something to dissuade you from giving up. In fact, this week, the specific energy around this week has been all about like perseverance and not giving up and not letting the opponent like wear you down. It's about pushing through no matter what, because you're not expecting results. You're detaching yourself from the results, and you're giving yourself in service to the Creator. And that's all you need to do. And you can detach from the results and the outcome, and God will do the rest. Okay. So our first card for our romance reading, so that was a little message for the Pisces New Moon, but specifically our romance oracle reading, we've got chemistry here. So there's a strong magnetic attraction here. Remember last week we were honing in on our magnetism and we were polishing that up. And so it had a lot to do with mother and father healing. So, and that's funny because I've been in touch with my mom and my dad this week. So that has magnified your chemistry. If you've been doing the work from last week, there was a lot in that reading. I remember about doing the healing work and the work on the self that was going to set you up to be that much more vibrant to your equal match. So very good. So maybe we are turning up that magnetism and calling in that soulmate. What up, soulmate? Let your friends help. Okay. Ask for and accept support from others. So, when we receive from the universe, it's like universally telling the universe, yes, continue to bring to me because I am an open vessel for receiving. But when we start pushing away, like when God's trying to help us and the angels are trying to help us, and we're like denying the gifts from every which way, it's like they're not gonna, sometimes they kind of force it on us and be like, hey, hello, we're trying to give you something. But other times they just respect your free will and they're like, okay, whatever. So actually let people in and let people help you. And that is like a universal sign that it's like an open sign at the motel, vacancy. But it's telling the universe like, okay, I'm not shutting life out. I'm bringing life in. I'm opening myself up. I can receive support. And I can let others show me kindness and support. In fact, so yesterday, our short video, the 1 card reading was 9 of Cups. Like, oh my gosh, wish comes true. And I was like, my wish is to get a tripod. I made some kind of joke like that because my tripod that I put my phone on for my other videos and the other setup. And that's another reason why I didn't go into the other workshop today, because I would have had to like rig up some kind of like chair and stacks of books and stuff to get, it would have been so much effort. So anyway, I made a joke, or I just made a statement or a request. It was just like, hey, anybody want to send me a Venmo for a tripod? And like this guy sent me a message and he was like, I want to send you a tripod. And he bought me a tripod and he's like, it's going to be delivered Saturday. So thank you, God, and thank you to the dude, Zach, for sending that. But it's like, sometimes you can ask and like you get nothing that you don't ask for, right? So maybe the answer is no. Now, also don't, like, we shouldn't be takers and we shouldn't be going out trying to get something. That's not what it is either, because I have witnessed and been around people who love to take advantage of a situation. And so that is like, that's not good consciousness to come from either. So the best way to be a vessel of receiving is to receive by the way. Like, I wasn't like thinking about it beforehand. It just kind of came out. But like I was like, yeah, I mean, why not? I will ask for this tripod. It is hard for me to come out and just like ask for something like that. And so I did. It was hard for me. Remember, the key to like dissecting some of the lessons that we go through in like as in accordance with Kabbalah is what's easy to your nature. You're probably being asked to do the thing that's harder for you to do. So for me, it's hard for me to ask for things and it's hard for me to receive things because I fear either strings attached or being punished and resented. And so a lot of times I feel like scared to receive or ask for things. And so for me to put that out there, it was difficult. And then to actually let someone actually go through with it and send me something, I was like, but I was like, okay, I can do it, and so it's the same with if you have love and people wanting to become closer to you in your life. People can't receive love, and so they push it away because they don't know how to let it in. And so by letting yourself receive support and love and just little things from people, it's like you're practicing letting people love you, and it's preparing you for when there's chemistry, you're going to be able to comfortably be with that and receive it without shutting up or clamming up or getting awkward or pushing it away, or and you get like totally freak out and you spaz. Very soon. Okay, get prepared. Prepare yourself to receive. Get into position. It's coming. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. You know what I've been meaning to do is like really sit down with my manifestation list and hone in on the romance sector of it again. I haven't done that in a while. yeah, this year I have not been very good about the To Be Magnetic Authenticity, like manifestation challenge. I don't know, I don't know what's happened. Like all of this time's gone by, but I need to like jump back in because I like doing that work and it gets me more focused. And I think we've all just been in a collective malaise and depression and shock and awe and all of it. And also the Mars retrograde, we always knew this was going to happen. And all of the messages kept telling us to chill out and be in the void and be in the quiet over the winter. So I feel like we were just having a hard time being with that stillness. And now we are moving into these brighter days. So things are going to start moving again. More things are going to start happening. It just felt like just a dark and quiet void for a minute. But spring is coming. And so, you know what that means. Love's in the air. Spring fling. So clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you. If you don't know what you want, the universe won't know what to send you. But you can still have, be kind of open about it. It's just you don't have to be so specific that you're like nitpicking over the details that don't matter, but you can understand like the essence of someone that you're looking for, right? And how you want to feel with them and what you want your kind of dynamic to be most of the time. Looky here. Do we ever have a reading where soulmate card does not come up in some form or another? Yes, this is your soulmate. So something is coming soon, potential for significant relationship potential possibly on the horizon, potential to meet soulmates. So it's like that these things can happen sooner than you think and right before your very eyes and quite sudden. So keep your energy ready and open so that if you do run into your soulmate, you don't immediately ignore them or cold shoulder them or freak out and be like, no, I can get it myself, when they're trying to flirt with you or whatever. And then they have to run into you again. So be ready to receive a support from a cute stranger, maybe that's going to I don't know, run into you at the grocery store or something, or try to help you out, and it could be anywhere, anything. Generally receive support from the universe and from people and from others. God works through people and through moving the parts and pieces of the universe. And so be on the readiness of being open to receiving support and love from people. And soulmates could be coming soon. Let's get a little bit of clarity from the Tarot of the Psychic Heart. I feel like this might be the card for chemistry. Ooh, balance. So this is Temperance. This is integrating a person slowly into your life, getting to know them. This talks about people having different personality traits. Everybody's unique and different. And so your partner that you might feel chemistry with, they don't have to be exactly like you in every way. You can appreciate the differences that you have with another person. Maybe some of the things the aspects that they have aren't exactly like you, and that doesn't make them wrong necessarily, depending on what it is. But, it may not make them wrong. It just makes them different from what you are. And so it's also about knowing when to push this person to grow and learning when to accept and tolerate who this person is and respecting their own individuality. So appreciating the different aspects that two people can bring to a situation. It's each person has their own strengths and weaknesses. And so you want someone who's not your exact mirror or reflection, but you want someone who's compatible and who works well with your strengths and weaknesses as well. Okay, let your friends help you. What do we need help with? Ooh, take the lead. So Emperor. So this is taking initiative to take control of your own situation, kind of get out there and take action. The Emperor is kind of stoic and is not romantic and is all caught up in all the all work and no play. So we might be a little bit all work and no play right now. We might need to like get out there with our friends, have fun, but also take that leadership role in our own life and take the initiative to take this issue into our own hands. Looks like he's taking this into his own hands and making it happen. So taking conscious action to get out there, maybe try to like go to places with your friends to try to generate new possibilities in your love life. I'd mentioned to a friend recently about maybe like hitting up synagogue, trying to find a Friday night service up in Ha for your girl on Shabbat. So, you know, maybe things like that, like taking initiative though, taking the lead and seeking that out and maybe doing it with your friends, letting your friends help, asking around, you know, maybe your friends have somebody they'd set you up with or ideas of like good places for you to go to maybe get like expand your network of people that you know so you can start meeting good quality options. All right, very soon. Let's see. Ooh, shine. So this is the Sun card. I love this. This feels like springtime. My birthday is in April and it's April 19th. So this card always reminds me of my birthday. But this could be coming up in the spring. And so it like I keep getting called to like get out in the sun and be out in the sun. So like let yourself be regenerated by that fiery spring energy, that like birthing, like fertile newborn energy of spring is in the air. It's very aphrodisiacal. It's an aphrodisiac. I don't know how to say that word. Aphrodisiacal. That's a word. Yeah, I mean, all of this new light, this new illumination, this new radiance is going to be very attractive. So again, this is like open up energy. This is put yourself out there. This is let yourself be shining. This is getting out and about and like socializing. But this is new light. This is new joy. Like something is coming in. So like get out, do the things that make you shine. Like follow your interests and passions. Put energy into this and don't hide yourself away. Don't skulk away. Don't shy away. Don't be a wallflower. It's like really like let yourself get attention and in a good way, in a positive way. Like you don't have to seek attention. That's usually like comes off as like this needy energy and it's obnoxious and sometimes it attracts exactly the wrong people. But if like you're just being yourself and shining your light, and that light is going to attract in this person. But the more joyous that you are and the more that you're getting back in touch with that like spiritually liberated self of that you are within and that higher self within, it's going to be attracting this very soon, because this was with the very soon card. So that joy is going to be speeding things up. Now, let's see, what about soulmate? Change your focus. So 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups is a card about like kind of sadness and lack and crying over spilled milk and feeling regrets. And so in Pisces season, we can tend to look back and get kind of sad and think about, maybe like old past heartaches and things. Like when we're looking back and doing the soul searching and daydreaming, it is very productive as long as we don't accidentally fall under the spell and slip into the old soap opera and get lost in the story. We want to be the observer. We want to be sitting there watching the TV like we're watching a story, like we're watching the soap opera, but we don't want to get drawn in and be a player in that story again and lose our, like we've been sucked into the TV and now we're trapped in the story, right? We want to be the observer, watching the TV, watching the memories, taking the lessons, but not getting dragged down into the sadness with it again, right? Healthy emotions we want to process, we want to move through, we want to digest. what's happened and not hang on. But some people want to hang on to their grief past the point of it really serving them. So sometimes we just need to, once we have taken the lesson, we don't need to keep working and working and working all the time. It's like we do the work, but if we're obsessive about fixing something about ourselves, then like that's not coming from a good, like a healthy place either. And it starts defeating us. It starts to hold us back, because then there's like, it's coming from a belief that we're in lack and we're not worthy and we're not whole also as we are. So even God takes 1 day a week to rest. So change your focus, get your mind off things. Don't focus on everything that went wrong in the past, because you don't want to focus on that so much that that's what you're manifesting again, because that's where all your energy and attention is, right? You want to focus on the new horizons to come. So you can shift your focus off of your finding results in your love life that are making you feel the lack and the lack of what you want. Just have fun and being in the moment and being in your fullness and in your full self, and also taking initiative to put yourself out there more, without giving yourself like any strict or heavy pressure, right? And having fun, and it's just kind of like it always happens when we least expect it, right? So show up for things, put yourself in situations and around people and in places where you would meet good quality people. Give yourself the right conditions for it to happen, and be in a good state, right? You don't want to meet someone when you're at this like dire straits in your life and you're like, oh, my life's terrible. Like, you want to meet someone when you're like, yeah, I like my life. Things are good. Like no news is good news kind of thing, right? So, work on yourself as always. Things are going to be shifting and things could be happening soon. So be ready for something to suddenly get better. Get interesting, right? All right. I hope this serves you well. Happy new moon in Pisces, y'all. Peace. I'll see you tomorrow.